Islam and Atheism Face to Face Part 3. 9. What prevents the existence of a material cause that created the universe, such as another civilization or something else? Why does there have to be an eternal God specifically? Answer. There is a rule established by Islamic scholars more than 8,000 years ago. This rule says that the sequence of the actors necessarily leads to the non-occurrence of actions. Ziharat Naqd ad-Din fi al-Falsafa al-Haditha. Dr. Sultan Al-Amari. Ph.D. Thesis. The sequence of actors means that there are more than one creator. The guest ion in hand mentions another civilization that is preceded by a civilization that produced it, and a civilization that preceded and produced both of them, etc. This represents sequence in creators, which is necessarily conducive to the non-occurrence of actions, i.e., the non-emergence of created beings like the universe, man and others. The sequence of actors results in the non-emergence of the universe and the existence. If a civilization depends on the existence of another civilization to have created it, and the other civilization depends on another civilization that preceded it and created it, and so on to infinity, then neither this civilization nor the one that precedes it nor the one that precedes them both will appear, and neither existence nor anything will appear. Because if every civilization depends on a civilization that preceded it and so on, there would therefore appear no civilization and nothing would ever come into existence. So, there must be a first eternal creator who created everything. If there is an infinite sequence and every link in the chain depends on the one before it, then there would be no creatures, no creation, no beings. Because the agent would depend on an agent that precedes it, and then its predecessor would depend on a previous one, and so on, therefore, there would be nothing. So, then sequence must stop at some point. Here, we become certain about the first creator who is not preceded by anything else. 10. We know about the laws that govern the universe, and know well about the cause of earthquakes, so why do we need a creator, as long as we know the laws? Answer. An atheist assumes that laws are sufficient to create the universe and cause it to appear. Some atheists have relied on the idea of the law of gravity and that it is sufficient for the emergence of the universe. Regardless of the collapse of this claim by just thinking about the source of the law of gravity, or who codified it or who gave it the property of interference and showing the effect. Regardless of these self-evident intuitions, the law of gravity does not cause the billiard ball to roll. Law alone is unable to cause anything without the appearance of that thing. The law of gravity cannot produce a billiard ball, it just causes it to move if it appears and gets hit by a billiard stick. In fact, the law of gravity is not independent, but it is a description to a natural occurrence. Moreover, the law of gravity will not move the billiard ball without a force pressing on the billiard stick and moving it. Only at this moment, the billiard ball moves and the effect of the law of gravity appears. Nonetheless, an atheist assumes that the law of gravity is sufficient to create a billiard ball, billiard stick and roll the ball. Which one is closer to good reason and logic regarding the cause of the appearance of the universe, the creator or the law? Similarly, the internal combustion laws of a car engine cannot create a car engine. If we add the laws of internal combustion to the car engine, it will not work either. There must be petrol, which gives energy, and there must be a spark for combustion, and before that there must be an engine, and only then the laws of internal combustion appear and the engine works. It is not reasonable to assume that the laws of internal combustion are sufficient to create the engine, the spark of combustion, petrol, the driver, and the road. In fact, the idea that a law is sufficient to explain the emergence of the universe is an idea that is completely alien to reason. Of a material place where it produces its influence. Then, how can we say that coincidence played a role in creating the universe, even though our universe came out of no time and no place? How can the effect of coincidence appear without the appearance of the coincidence itself? How can coincidence provide an effect before its own existence or the existence of time and place that are the two essential conditions for coincidence? 12. How can we answer an atheist who claims that the universe is eternal, has no beginning? Answer: according to the second law of thermodynamics, it is impossible that the universe is eternal. Here is an example to simplify this law. If you have a cup of hot water in the room, heat is transferred from the hot water to the room until the room's temperature equals the temperature of the cup. This is the second law of thermodynamics, where energy flows from high levels to low levels over time. This law takes place in everything in the universe at every moment since the emergence of the universe, until the temperature of everything in the universe becomes equal, and when this happens, what is known as the thermal death of the universe will occur. If the universe were eternal, it would have been suspended now, thermally dead. However, the universe is now actually in a state less than maximum entropy and has not yet reached thermal death. Thus, it is not eternal, rather, it has a fixed beginning during which time and space had appeared. It has been proven according to the same law that the universe began at a minimum of entropy, which means that its occurrence was without a precedent example, it was created out of nothing. This is a scientific law on one side, whereas atheism is completely on the other side. 13. Why does the law of causality not apply to the Creator? Or in other words, who created the Creator? Answer: first, the laws of the created beings do not apply to the Creator. This is a self-evident fact. Otherwise, we could also say, who cooked the cook, who painted the painter? It is self-evident that the Creator is the one who brought time and place into existence. So, it is inconceivable to say that the laws he created out of nothing should apply to him, glory be to him. Second, it is true that every created being should have a creator. However, in the case of the Creator, there is nothing like unto him, Surah Ash-Shura, 11. Third, the Creator is not created, rather, he is eternal. So, how can we ask, who created him? The Creator must be eternal and necessary to exist. Otherwise, we would get into the problem of the sequence of the actors that necessarily leads to the non-occurrence of actions. D as we just explained in detail. So, the Creator must be necessarily existent and eternal, glory be to him. 14. The universe is huge. How can we, with our small size, be a center in this gigantic universe? Answer: the atheist makes a pointless assumption, saying, since the universe is huge, then man is not a center in this universe. This assumption is based on the premise, since the farms are vast and its owner is too small comparing to them, then, he is not their owner. In fact, it has nothing to do with the size at all. Morals that have no material size are the greatest criterion for considering people as the most noble or the most despicable people. In fact, people are weighed according to their morals. Therefore, the issue of size is not a criterion. Let us give this example. If there is a king who made some laws and gave advice to his son and wrote a book to him regarding that, would it be possible that someone may object and say, how can a king who owns millions of vast and countless acres of lands take care of his son whose size and weight is even less than 1 part out of a million of what this king owns of land and acres? And for Allah is the highest example. Can such an objection be reasonable in the first place? It is not a matter of weight or size. Furthermore, was not this universe generated out of a point smaller than the tip of a pin by billions of times, as all physicists in the world acknowledge? Hence, size is relative. Furthermore, what would bother an atheist that Allah creates whatever he wills in the way he wills? Does God lack resources so that he should spend thriftily? Exalted is he above that. However, is it true that we really represent a center in this universe? Yes, human is the center of this universe, as per divine assignment. This divine assignment is religion. Religion is the trust that man bears, which is the greatest test one has to go through. You are required to be a servant of Allah Almighty, whereby you are a center in this universe, not for your size, power, or capabilities, but by divine assignment. You are capable of doing what is good and giving up what is evil, you are capable of being a believer or a disbeliever. We all know that we are charged with religious assignments, willingly or unwillingly. Everyone knows, including an atheist, believer, agnostic, and everyone, that he is under religious assignment. He perceives this divine assignment and suffers the tingling of a moral conscience. He knows that there is something within himself telling him, do such, and do not do such and such. Do good and do not do evil. Every one of us knows from the reality of himself that he is required to comply. We are at the center of this universe by religious assignment. Also, we are at the center of this universe perceptually and cognitively. We perceive, realize, understand, and know the reality of our existence and the reality of the universe around us, and grasp the meaning of our existence well. We are the ones who are liable for duties, responsibilities, assignments, and reckoning. We are the that is aware of the splendor of careful formulation. We are a being that is aware of the laws of perfection, and we are a being that is able to carry out their assignments or to reject to do so. We are fully capable of choosing, and we are capable of being believers or disbelievers. We are at the center of this universe. Indeed, we offered the trust to the heavens, the earth, and the mountains, yet they refused to bear it and were afraid of it. But man assumed it, he is indeed wrongful and ignorant. Surat al-Ahzab, 72. 15. Some atheists say, there are so many planets, so, based on the theory of possibilities, it would be correct to assume that one of these planets would be suitable for life. Would this be a valid inference? Answer. What is the relation between the existence of many planets and discrediting perfection as proof? Atheists note a matter of raw materials. Being in a forest full of all vegetables and fruits and animals does not mean that there must suddenly appear before me in the middle of the forest a dish of delicious, cooked food. The issue is not about the raw materials. Likewise, the existence of sand in the deserts of the world does not mean that I can find digital processors and electronic chips that are made of sand all around me in the desert. The case is not raw materials, rather, it is a case of creation and perfection, know-how. The mere existence of a group of planets is not sufficient to have among them a planet that is so perfectly created like the Earth. It is a case of perfection, creation, and making. Such is the design of Allah, who has perfected everything. Surat An-Naml, 88. The presence of many other planets does not at all justify that there is life on Earth. Neither does it justify the existence of the genetic code inside of you, consisting of 4 billion letters that impressively controls all your functions, organs, and hormones. Even before you came into existence. Life is information, not matter. If land an atheist would ascend to a planet and discover a complex device that works with impressive precision, even if we cannot yet understand its function. Can the maker of this device be denied just because of the huge size of the planet we are on? Mental intuition prompts me and the atheist, when we see this device, to admit the existence of the capable creator. The one who denies this logical intuition, who denies the existence of the creator, is actually the one who is required to present the evidence, not the one who affirms his existence. The atheist in this dazzling elegant universe is the one who is required to provide the evidence, not the believer. The agnostic atheist Carl Sagan once wrote a novel called Contact, in which he recounts how the scientists are looking for extraterrestrial intelligence. In this fictional novel, scientists discovered a long series of prime numbers coming from outer space. Since this initial sequence implies a specific mathematical value, a value that indicates a kind of precision. This was enough mental evidence to conclude that this message was coming from another civilization trying to communicate with us. What is funny is that Carl Sagan is a famous agnostic himself, yet his mind accepts the fact that the complexity and organization of a small message is proof of creation and perfection. A mere series of prime numbers would definitely prove the presence of a giant civilization. So how do you ascribe the 4 billion letters inside each cell of your body, of which if one letter were missing, a catastrophe would occur? How do you ascribe all this perfection to the illogical atheistic oddities? It is not reasonable to resort to quirks, oddities, in order to prevent the interpretation of the phenomenon in its framework as an indication of the existence of the Creator. Say, look at what is in the heavens and earth. But the signs and warnings are of no avail to those who do not believe. Surat Yunus, 101.